The international news on the hour, brought to you by Yuska Bank, Gibraltar. For all your investments and banking needs, go online, yuskabank.gi, or visit us at 76 Main Street, Gibraltar.
Go all in at StanJames.com. Their mobile betting makes it easier than ever before. Visit StanJames.com on your iPhone or Android handset for instant sports betting. Bet with StanJames.com now and receive up to £150 in free bets when you join. It's the quickest, easiest sports betting and online gaming site, offering the best promotions and the best odds. Register at the casino, participate in weekly competitions, and get £100 in bonuses. Terms and conditions apply. Go all in at StanJames.com.
This is TalkRadioEurope.net, your voice in Europe. Why not check out our Listen Again and On Demand service?
I knew you'd settle out here eventually, son. Viva España! What are you doing?
Just on that UK and Spain website, getting myself sorted.
UK and Spain website?
Dad, you've been here 10 years.
What's this website for?
What isn't it for? It's for just about everything. Help, support and advice on all aspects of living in Spain.
Like what?
Well, everything. Healthcare and pensions for a start.
Listen to you. I'm the one who should be worrying about healthcare and pensions.
Exactly.
The UK and Spain website. For everything you need to know about living in Spain, go to ukandspain.fco.gov.uk.
Tune into Steve Gilmore on TalkRadioEurope.net, your voice in Europe.
Talk Radio Europe, #1 for news and talk.
Tonight with Lisa Grant.
Hello and welcome to The Tonight Show with me, Lisa Grant, for this evening. I hope you are very, very well indeed. Did you manage to catch any rays today? It was very nice out there, wasn't it? Well, the good weather's going to be continuing for the rest of the week and hopefully into next week as well. So, a rather nice January for us lots over here, isn't it? Listen, if you'd like to get in touch, the all-important number, 951 036 026. That's 951 036 026, or alternatively email studio@talkradioeurope.com. As ever, 3 interviews lined up for you this evening. Jonathan Davis is going to be here in the first hour of the show with his weekly economics clinic, and we've got several headlines we're going to be talking about, including public sector pensions suffer systematic collapse as firm cuts costs. Barclays apparently is the worst offender as banks ordered to pay £160 million in compensation to customers. And to speed Europe, German unemployment rate drops to record low as Spain hits, unfortunately, a 15-year high. That, and I'm sure other things as well, with Jonathan at around about 7:20. In the second hour of the show, I'm going to be talking to Andy Oppenheimer, who is the editor of Warfare Review, talking about bioweapons. How, what, why and who. Details of that interview in just a little while as well. And in the last hour of the show, I'm going to be talking to Wendy from the Olive Press, going over some of the stories from the latest edition of the paper. As I've said, if you'd like to get in touch, that number, 951 036 026. That's 951 036 026. Or email studio@talkradioeurope.com. As Steve says, Talk Radio Europe is all about talking, so please do get in touch this evening.
Lisa Grant, tonight on Talk Radio Europe.
You don't understand, and you suffer. For us to shine ain't the way. No, no, no.
Stevie Wonder and Superstition on Talk Radio Europe. You know, earlier on this afternoon, I was looking through the pictures from the UK. The weather over there, I mean, it's all very well me saying it's nice for us over here, but the weather in England has been absolutely dreadful. I actually spoke to somebody this afternoon, would you believe, who saw a tornado outside his bedroom window. It was only a micro tornado, and thankfully nobody was hurt, no injuries, no damage, no nothing. But he just stood there looking at it. You know how you just, when you see something, you can't quite believe what you are seeing? Well, yeah, that's exactly how he was feeling when he was staring outside his bedroom window. He couldn't quite believe it. And, of course, some of the problems, a lot of people have had their roofs collapse, trees have come down. It's just awful. It's absolutely awful. My brother is actually stuck in Dublin at the moment. He went over to the UK. Went over to Dublin, I should say, not the UK. Went over to Dublin for New Year's Eve to see some friends, and he hasn't been able to get back yet because the weather has been so bad. So if you do get a chance, if I were you, I'd ring, if you've got anybody over there, just ring and say hi. Just make sure everybody's okay because things are not great over there at the moment. Taking our look through the papers and a story that's made Spanish headlines today. 53 people have been arrested, 4 of them in France, but the rest in Spain, from a network which transported hashish in lorries from Morocco to Barcelona for distribution across Europe, and who counted on a wide infrastructure. The police have recovered 3,500 tonnes of the drug, which is estimated at millions and millions of euros in value. The group used large lorries to transport the drugs, which they obtained from fixed suppliers in Morocco and which was brought into Spain via the Levante coast. Once in Spain, the group organised its transport by road, usually in the false bottoms of vehicles known as caletas, which are assembled in France. Several times in this show, I've been very pleased to report about police overturning this kind of thing because it's absolutely fantastic. And to have something like this so early on in the year is great news. Do you think anyone transporting this horrible, horrible stuff will ever actually get the message that we're making a dent? Do you think, or do you think they're just going to carry on doing it regardless? I tell you what, if the police across the world just keep doing the fantastic job that they're doing, maybe we'll make a dent in it eventually. It would be nice, wouldn't it? It would be nice, but we can but hope. New Year's resolution for this year: no, I'm not going to do bad things. Wouldn't it be nice if everyone decided to do that? 951 036 026. That's 951 036 026. If you'd like to get in touch. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Lisa. This is Jack.
Hi, Jack. How are you doing tonight?
Well, not bad. Not good either, but what the hell?
Oh, what's wrong?
Alive. Well, my head.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. But it's normal.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, I have regards for you from John.
From John.
The Rolls-Royce guy. He calls you all the time.
Oh, yes.
Okay, you got that one.
Yes.
He called me from England. When you introduced your show with the weather in England.
Yes.
Boy, did he fill me in. He's there.
Yeah, and what's he said? What's it like?
Rough,
yeah.
Bad, rain, cold. Everything was not so nice.
No, I'm sure. No,
and I didn't want to upset him and tell him how great we are here.
No, well, this is why I said it's all very well me sitting here saying we've got lovely sunshine, but it ain't great over there at the moment. Well, if you speak to him again, tell him I said hi and tell him I said keep warm and stay indoors.
Which he won't do. He'll go out looking for a place to drink his wine.
Thanks for your call,
anyway,
Jack.
So he sends best wishes.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, bye. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes' time with someone else who's over in the UK, Jonathan Davis, the money manager, who's here with his weekly economics clinic. We've got several headlines we're going to touch on today, and I'm sure the weather may just pop up.
Hello, Julie Revel here saying Happy New Year to you in advance, and to say our New Year's Day guest on Profiles is the entrepreneur businessman Alan James, who's been in Spain since the 70s, not just building companies up in the construction and leisure industries, but also raising huge sums for charity. His latest venture is in the world of affordable broadband reception for all. To hear all the details, join us for Profiles Sunday at 1 o'clock. The repeat Wednesday night at 10.
When I came to Spain, I had a dream of the indoor-outdoor life, but I couldn't find my ideal grand design until I discovered Vergola. It's a brilliant automatic opening roof that lets in the sun, ventilates but still resists a shower, or locks tight to keep out the wind and rain.
See vergola.es or call 902 102 658.
TalkRadioEurope.net. Your voice in Europe and around the world.
Like a better investment return?
Need to reduce inheritance taxes?
Want to increase your UK pension by minimising the tax due?
Well, these are just some of the areas that we at Black Tower Financial Management can help with.
Regulated by both the FSA and FSC, we've been helping customers in Spain, Portugal, UK and Gibraltar for over 25 years.
We're completely independent. We're not associated with any insurance company or bank, so we listen to what you need and advise on the right product for you.
With our knowledge and expertise, we can save you time, money and bring you peace of mind.
Why not find out more? Phone Black Tower Financial Management on 952 816 443. That's 952 816 443.
Black Tower, your financial freedom.
Black Tower Financial Management is licensed by the Gibraltar Financial Services Commission. License number 00805B.
Website. At Redinet Multimedia, our professional team is waiting to help your business succeed. Contact Redinet on 952 888 999 or visit our office in Diana Park Centre between Marbella and Estepona, or visit us online at www.designbythebest.com.
And quote Talk Radio Europe and receive a 10% discount.
Have your website designed by the best. Redinet.
The restaurant at El Campanario has never been more appetizing. Come and try the incredible value 3-course dinner menu on offer Thursday, Friday and Saturday nights for just €25 plus drinks, with live music on Saturdays and Sundays. There are dozens of dishes to choose from for meat eaters, vegetarians and fish lovers alike. Or come and join us for a sumptuous 3-course Sunday lunch for just €15 plus drinks. The mouth-watering menu includes spring rolls with chili sauce, roast beef and tiramisu, to name a few. Come and find out why Restaurant El Campanario is fast becoming a family favourite. Reservations on 952 904 233.
Oxygen, essential for life. Available liberally throughout the planet's atmosphere. Water, essential for life. Available in abundance covering a large part of the planet's surface. Sleep, essential for life. Available through a periodic state of psychological rest.
Essential Magazine, essential for lifestyle. Available free from all the best locations in Marbella and the Costa del Sol.
Put yourself in the picture with Essential, your Marbella magazine.
Like a better investment return?
Need to reduce inheritance taxes?
Want to increase your UK pension by minimising the tax due?
Well, these are just some of the areas that we at Black Tower Financial Management can help with.
Regulated by both the FSA and FSC, we've been helping customers in Spain, Portugal, UK and Gibraltar for over 25 years.
We're completely independent. We're not associated with any insurance company or bank, so we listen to what you need and advise on the right product for you.
With our knowledge and expertise, we can save you time, money and bring you peace of mind.
Why not find out more? Phone Black Tower Financial Management on 952 816 443. That's 952 816 443.
Black Tower, your financial freedom.
Black Tower Financial Management is licensed by the Gibraltar Financial Services Commission. License number 00805B.
From Malaga to Calahonda on 88.9, this is Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain. Talk Radio Europe. Tonight with Lisa Grant.
Welcome back, and waiting on the phone for me is Wealth Manager Jonathan Davis. Hello.
Hello, Lisa. Happy New Year.
And to you. Did you have a good celebration?
We had a lovely time. Thank you very much.
And have you got yourself back into the routine of being back at work one day after the other yet?
Work? No. This is my passion. This is my hobby.
This is your love, shall we say? That's your love, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
My other one.
Now, considering it is the first week of a brand new year, there's rather a lot going on with regards to the world of money, and you sent me a little bulletin about the released manufacturing figures for the PMI indices. Can you just explain what that is?
Yes, the Purchasing Manufacturing Index is an economic statistic that looks at different countries and what's been happening in manufacturing over a period, and it combines output, orders, and employment. So it gives a very good feel for the state of manufacturing in a particular country.
Right, and as of December, how was it looking?
Well, I've got several stats here for different countries right across Europe. Greece, of course, is a total basket case. When the index is above 50, it shows that the manufacturing sector is growing. When it's below 50, it shows it's contracting. And Greece in December was shown at an index level of 42.
Oh, dear.
Well, that's just collapse beyond belief. Germany is looking better at 48.4, but that's still below 50, and I know you want to talk about Germany later, but it's still below 50. So, of course, Germany doesn't have much of a services sector, and certainly not much of a financial services sector. Germany, of course, manufactures for the rest of Europe and much of the world, and yet Germany's manufacturing is in contraction. Apart from anything, that probably simply means, or simplistically means, that the EU is therefore in contraction.
Okay.
German manufacturing is in contraction.
Well, one of the
France is also...
Sorry to interrupt you, but one of the headlines I saw today was that Germany's unemployment has dropped to a record low. So there must be money around. There must be money around to pay people their wages.
No doubt, but I think that their employment level has just peaked. It's got to a final peak, and it's on the way down from now on, or in other words, unfortunately, unemployment is now on the way up. The simple fact is Germany is all about manufacturing, and Germany's manufacturing is in contraction, and it was in contraction the previous month too. Thus, Germany is probably in recession as we speak. As is France. French manufacturing is in contraction. Italy is, again, also in a state of collapse, practically like Greece, with an index level of 44.3. Again, I remind your listeners that 50 is neutral, above 50 is a rise, below 50 is a fall. Ireland is in contraction, and the UK is in contraction, even though only 1 in 6 of our economy is manufacturing. Manufacturing right across the EU is in contraction, and it's pretty obvious, as I've been saying, that the EU is in recession right now.
Do you have the figures for Spain at all?
Do you know what? Actually, I don't. But as you mentioned Spain, I would like to note that a major headline which went under the Christmas radar, as it were, last week was the announcement that Spain's annual budget deficit, and I remind your listeners that that's the amount that they borrow more than they're taking in taxes in a year. The budget deficit is now due to be more than 8% in the current year, whereas previously the EU and the Spanish statistics people said, and the politicians said, it was only going to be 6%.
Yeah, it did pop up in the papers over here just before Christmas, and of course people have been asking questions. Why?
Well, because Spain is a basket case. I keep using that phrase. I cannot think of a country which is not a basket case. Okay, Germany, sure, low unemployment, absolutely, but it's heading to be a basket case. But practically every country in the EU is a basket case, and people need to wake up to that reality. Spain has 22.5% unemployment, 45% youth unemployment. I mean, these are just dreadful. These are third world statistics.
It's huge, isn't it? All right, let's move on to pensions. I actually had an interview with Christine, who's the chairwoman for Pensioners Campaign UK, that works very, very closely with UK pensioners abroad over here, which is run by several fabulous people over here. They do wonderful work. And of course, we were discussing the situation with pensions and the means-tested pensions. And then I saw the headline today that private sector pensions suffer systemic collapse as firms cut costs.
Well, indeed, what that essentially means is that the large-scale private pensions, such as in the big companies, where the pensions are based on the number of years you've worked and your earnings at the end, as it were, called final salary pensions. The companies that sponsor these schemes just don't have the money to pay into them anymore. So these large schemes are breaking down as we speak, and many of them have closed down over the past 10 or 15 years. The public sector schemes are, of course, funded by the taxpayers, but for how long? And then you've got the other private sector schemes, which are self-funded by individuals. Well, clearly, people haven't got much money to pay into pensions. The pension system in the UK is in a state of collapse. And ultimately, it comes back down to something that I mentioned previously in an earlier show, demographics. And the demographics in the UK is diabolical. We've got so much proportion of our population in retirement, but we don't have that many people paying into pensions or earning and paying taxes to provide for the retirees. The traditional setup was that you had few people in retirement and lots of people working and earning and paying taxes and borrowing and investing, whatever. We don't have that anymore. And in fact, throughout most of the developed world, we don't have that. What we have in most of the developed world is a big rump of people in retirement and not many people coming behind who are shouldering the burden. Frankly, that's the economic way to look at it, of looking after the elderly. That's the simple reality that people, again, need to face.
There also is, as it came out in the interview last night, people who had put money into pensions have actually found that the value of their pension, now that they've come to retire, has gone down considerably. And, of course, they're asking the question, where's the money gone?
The money has gone in terrible investment management and relatively high charges. And I use the phrase relatively because the bulk of pension funds just invest in the markets. If the markets go up, then the pension will make money. If the market goes down, the pension will not make money. And it's a really ugly situation that these pension managers and investment managers are taking big fees for just investing in the stock market or investing in the index, not actually particularly trying to outperform or indeed even outperform cash. Most investment management is passive. In other words, just put it in the market and let's see what happens. Well, that's as useful as a chocolate teapot. I'm afraid to say that's where the money's gone. High charges, poor performance.
What advice would you give people who are on the other side of the pension situation and who are starting to think about putting together a pension for later life?
They absolutely have to do it, even irrespective of what I've just said there. first of all, you have to assume you're going to retire. And if you've accepted that assumption, then you know that you're probably going to be in retirement for 20 or 30 years. So you absolutely have to plan for your retirement. But what you don't do is just abrogate responsibility and give the money to con men or high-charge people in the city. You have to take some control over your pensions. You have to review your pension funds at least annually. You have to sit down with your pension fund managers or your financial advisors, your investment managers, your stockbrokers, whatever, and really grill them. And it shouldn't be just how does it compare to the stock market, because that's how the fund managers get away with murder. It should be, have you made any money this year or haven't you? And if not, why not? And what are you going to do about making me money next year? And grill them every single year, and don't let them away with murder.
So it's a good.
You have to save for retirement. You've got no option.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of talk being said about the fact that everyone's going to have to work a lot longer, and you know, putting money aside it's getting difficult. We've got a call. Can you hold on a moment, Jonathan?
Of course.
Okay, hold on. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi Lisa. It's Gary Waite. Good afternoon.
Hello. How are you tonight?
All right, Danny. I'm very interested to listen to this gentleman. Listen to him on my way into work most times he's on. I invested about 20 years ago with Zurich, one of the biggest, well, he knows it's one of the biggest insurance companies in Europe.
Sure.
And they linked their top 10 performing shares to the Spanish stock market. Well, if you go back to 1990 and then take it up until today, well, going back a few years now, because, of course, obviously things went a bit tits up, as they say, we had one of the highest performing countries' stock increases in probably Europe. My money should have gone up 100-fold, as did the shares, and yet, at the end of the day, I ended up with my pension plan worth less in actual pound notes, or pesetas as it was, than I could have stuck under the bed. And I contacted Zurich, and I was, of course, told that, you know, that was the way the world was running, and tough luck. What does he have to say to that, Jonathan?
Jonathan?
Well, of course, I don't know that particular contract or what the terms were. I would imagine the charges were high. That's the first thing.
Horrendous.
Well,
sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah, horrendous.
They were horrendous.
They were high. I said they were horrendous.
Right. Okay.
And I would also imagine that something happened to the investments along the way. If, as you say, and I take it as read, that the Spanish stock market went through the roof over 20 years, then actually your fund, not the pension, but think of the pension as a wrapper, as a vehicle, and inside the vehicle is the person driving the car, the fund should have also gone through the roof, and then the pension takes its charges. So something must have gone wrong with the fund that didn't actually track the Spanish market. And also, you must accept some responsibility. You cannot leave it to these guys year after year. You have to review it annually to make sure that what they say is happening is actually happening.
Well, I mean, I'm one of many people who invested in the same fund in the same time, and all of us took out. You see, over here, that sort of plan is not like a pension plan as in the UK. This is like a jubilación. It's almost like a savings plan, and at the end of that term, you can then elect to either commit it all to cash, or you can reset it as a return investment.
Well, indeed. Again, you need to review these things yourself. People have to take some responsibility and some control over their investments and not leave it to sharp practices. There's always going to be sharp practices. I'm forever banging on about the con men in the city and the bankers, the insurance companies. There's not a great deal of difference.
I was going to say, you think with something like Zurich, you were sort of in relatively safe hands, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, again, people thought that of Royal Bank of Scotland, Lloyds Bank, Halifax, Dexia. Santander, they're all bankrupt.
Anyway, for what it's worth, Jonathan, I took my money out. It's in fine wines, and the interest rate, which is tax-free, VAT-free, is far better than anything else you could get on the financial market.
Well, you might be right there. Personally, I wouldn't be investing in fine wine or furniture or classic cars. Not at the end of the biggest credit bubble in history. As we're in an era of falling credit and, as we say, deleveraging, I believe that going forward, those type of assets will fall hard over months and years. But I wish you well with that.
Even with the interest from the Indians, the Chinese and the Russians who are buying it at the rate of knots?
Again, I can't talk about individual investments. What I can say is that China is in recession, in my view, as we speak. And India is not nearly going forward as strongly as you might imagine. Look at their stock market. It's absolutely in a state of collapse.
Is that all right to answer your question, okay?
I'm sure that Jonathan knows the conversation could go on for days.
Well, I'm afraid we haven't got time for it to do that, but thank you very much for tuning in and for calling us. Okay.
God bless.
Bye. Happy New Year. Bye. Jonathan, it's another headline that is fun enough because I think you mentioned them just before, and it was regards to certain banks, and one that's popped up in the papers today is Barclays. Apparently they're being regarded as the worst offender, and I'm quoting from a headline here, as banks ordered to pay out £160 million in compensation to customers.
Yeah. Okay. When you state it boldly like that, you think, oh, they've been fined, or not just Barclays, but about a dozen banks have been fined by the UK regulator, £160 million. That's showing them.
Well, yeah, you would think that the headlines would tell the truth, but we know generally it kind of is a little bit of an embellishment.
It's a drop in the ocean. These guys took us for hundreds of billions of pounds a few years ago, and you know what? They're going to do it again. Now, all this is talking about is the terrible wealth management financial advice that these guys gave to the man and woman in the street over a number of years, and it finally came to a head, and they got fined in 2011. Again, they almost don't care, these guys, because their retail financial advice arms are a tiny, tiny proportion of their whole banking model. The main part of their banking is the markets, is the City of London. And yes, of course, it's right that they should be fined, they should be hammered for bad financial advice. But as I say, in the scheme of things, we should be taking hundreds of billions off them, not giving them it. 160 million. While they're drinking their Chateau Lafite 1951, believe me, they're not going to be crying into their glasses.
It seems strange that the amounts of compensation, if what you're saying is true, is in no way reflecting the kind of damage that the banks have allegedly done. Why do you think that these figures are thrown out as they stand and not made higher?
Well, you know, as I say, relative to the bad advice that they gave to real people like you, not in me, because I'm a wealth manager, but real people, man and woman on the street, the fines are probably commensurate with the sharp practices that they undertook. But as I say, it's such a tiny proportion of their banking work. The banking work where they lost all the vast amount of money, which was then guaranteed by the taxpayers, was in the city, was in Madrid, was in Frankfurt, was in the City of London, was in La Défense in Paris, was in Wall Street. That's where the real money takes place. No, they've been fined commensurate with the sharp practices, But as I say, it's a drop in the ocean with what's really going on in the banking system.
We'll have to see how things progress during the course of the year then. Now, something that I found a little bit disconcerting, and I thought to myself, well, that doesn't exactly seem fair when everyone's got so much to worry about. And again, it's a story out of the UK. But the taxman could possibly start getting tough with small businesses, and bearing in mind small businesses are struggling just about everywhere. Just not in the UK. But firms threaten with spot checks and a £3,000 fine for missing paperwork.
Isn't it funny? That's what's going to be happening in the UK. And before I go on further about that, isn't it interesting that in Greece, where people don't pay much taxes, the tax collectors are going on strike?
Oh, are they?
Yes, they are. Yet again, they're going on strike. That's funny. However, in the UK, the government's got no money. Basically, no government in any country you can pretty well think of has got any money, because it's all gone to the bankers. And the government has put out an edict to the Revenue and Customs, collect more money. We don't care how you do it, just collect more taxes. So they're finding every way they possibly can to hammer the little guy. And this is yet another sharp practice by government against the people. And as you say, how ridiculous it will be. If you're a one-man band or a two-person band, you're working hard to make ends meet, along with the higher cost of running your business because they've created inflation, along with the fact that the economy is in recession because governments have spewed the legacy that they've been given for decades from the likes of North Sea Oil, just thrown it away. Along with that, now comes along bureaucrats and says, right, where's this letter from the 15th of May 2007? Oh, you can't find it? Right, there's a £3,000 fine. Isn't that great? And I'll tell you what, it's the governments, it's the bureaucrats against us. It's not left against right, because they're all part of the same political and financial elite. It's them against us.
But it just seems so unbelievably unfair. People are barely making any profit margins. They're barely managing to make ends meet. And now they've got possibly, I mean, this hasn't been confirmed, they're talking about doing it, of doing this as well. And what if other tax offices around the world saw this and thought, oh, that's a good idea. Let's all go Sheriff of Nottingham on them. And everyone's going to start wondering where Robin Hood is. But, of course, he doesn't generally pop up when you need him.
You know, we're not very far away. You know, you mentioned about history or legend. We're not very far away from France, 18th century, Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. The fact is, there's less money around. The money that has been around has been given to the bankers. There's less money around, and there's going to be more and more unemployment. There's going to be more and more poverty. There's going to be falling for many, many years, living standards. I don't think people have any idea how bad it's going to get. And, you know, people listening to this will think, oh, well, you're just an extreme character and all the rest of it. Well, they just have to look at the statistics. Average in the EU of countries is 500% of each country's economy is debt. Now, that debt has to be repaid, in theory, and who's paying for it? The taxpayers. So they're being pounced on time and time again, whilst the bureaucrats have their fancy get-togethers in Brussels and wherever they do, flying their Learjets. I see that there's going to be 4,000 BMWs to ferry the Olympics officials around London.
Yes,
in the summer.
I talked about that a while ago.
And you know, the elite just get on with it, and everyone else pays for it.
We've got a call, Jonathan. Hold on. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello. Good evening, Jonathan. Good evening, Lisa.
Hi, Sharon.
Hello. Is the reason that they don't go for the big corporations? Is it because it's easier to go for the small man than the big corporations, Jonathan? Is that why they're not going for the big corporations?
Jonathan?
I don't know if it's easier. Certainly, of course, the small guy.
Sorry, what? Why are they not going for them, Sharon? Sorry, Jonathan.
Can I just answer? Certainly the small guy doesn't have a legal and financial, accountancy support that the big corporation guy does. However, the big corporation essentially funds governments and keeps the political elite in power. So that's another reason why the large corporate and the bankers get away with murder, metaphorical murder, while the small guy, which is you and me, we get done every time.
Jonathan, something got us over the 1929 to 32 depression. What got us over that? Was it the Steeple Act or whatever it was called to separate the banks, or was it a matter of we mustn't let this happen again, or was it goodwill on behalf of the politicians and the bankers? What exactly was it that got us out of the 32 depression, and could that happen again? Because this is very worrying.
Yeah, I'll tell you what got us out of the 1930s depression. And people say it was the war. It was the rearmament. It was the building of the ships, and the building of the tanks and the airplanes. So obviously, if you put people to work, then that's going to get you out of economic depression. Yeah. Actually, Sharon, we didn't get out of economic depression until the 1950s. And how did we get out of the depression of the 30s? It wasn't because of the rearmament. That's a myth that Keynesian economics and politicians want you to believe. No, we got out of the 1930s depression because during the 1940s and 1950s, labour costs plummeted. So the costs of manufacturing, the cost of everything, the cost of running business went through the floor. That's how we got out of the depression. So what are the politicians doing now? They're keeping costs high by printing lots of money, devaluing currencies, thus all our costs of fuel and imports and heat and light and transportation stay high. That's why we remain in depression. They need to stop printing money.
Thank you. We're in austerity. We have to have austerity balanced with stimulation. They're only doing austerity. They're not doing stimulation. But thanks a lot, Jonathan. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Jonathan, as ever, an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. We've run out of time, and thank you to everyone who's got in touch during the course of that interview. Now, you've said to me that this year, not particularly great. Please, 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 there's got to be a little bit of light, hasn't there?
Has there?
Yes.
With $220 trillion of global debt, with, as I say, average EU debt of 5 times the EU economy, you tell me where's the light at the end of the tunnel, and I will gladly run to it.
All right, then. I'm going to hold you to that. I'll speak to you again next week. Have a great week, and don't work too hard, will you?
Okay.
Bye.
All the best. Bye.
The Raven and the Blues on Talk Radio Europe, Blues and Cool Talk.
Hi, this is Ainsley Lister, and you're listening to The Raven and the Blues on Talk Radio Europe.
The best of blues midday Saturday and 10 p.m. Tuesday.
Hi, this is Cherry Lee Mewis, and you're listening to The Raven and the Blues on Talk Radio Europe.
Here's your G&T. Now, what's the good news?
You'll never guess what. Mike and Sally are going to buy the property down the road.
That's fantastic. Did you tell them to get in touch with World First for the best rates?
What made you remember them?
Well, that's my good news. I was speaking to Elizabeth from World First today, and she confirmed that our pension payments are all set up and there won't be any transfer fees. And from now on, the transfers will be automatic. More time for you and Sally to catch up on the gossip.
John and Barbara rely on World First for foreign exchange. World First have helped them automate their regular monthly transfers. For guaranteed best rates and the option to fix the rate in advance, visit worldfirst.com or call 800 098 048.
That really is an amazing service.
TalkRadioEurope.net. Your voice in Europe and around the world.
Our little girl getting married. Doesn't seem possible, does it?
Well, she's 29. I'd had 3 kids by then.
Oh, a big day for me, though. Giving me daughter away at the altar.
I am looking forward to this trip back to the UK. Give us your passport.
Yeah, love.
Oh, my.
What?
Look at the expiry date.
Always make sure your passport is valid and your emergency contact details are up to date. If your passport isn't valid, you won't be able to fly. For more details, go to the UK and Spain website.
I don't believe this.
Oh, I didn't realise. I mean...
Sometimes, you know, I wish I'd given you away at the altar.
The UK and Spain website, ukandspain.fco.gov.uk.
TalkRadioEurope.net. Your voice in Europe.
If you're looking for the best apartments, villas and luxury properties on the beautiful Costa del Sol, visit dreamsoverseas.com. With a network of around 500 European real estate agents and mortgage brokers offering every type of resale property, new homes, new developments, bank repossessions and distressed sale bargains. Dreamsoverseas.com is the one-stop answer. So, look at what we have to offer. Visit our website, dreamsoverseas.com, or click on our banner at talkradioeurope.com.
Lisa Grant.
She packed my bags last night, pre-flight. 0 hour, 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. I miss the earth so much, I miss my wife. It's lonely out in space on such a timeless flight. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here at home. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here alone. Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids. In fact, it's cold as hell. And there's no one there to raise them. If you did, and all the science I don't understand, it's just my job 5 days a week. A rocket man, a rocket man. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here alone. And I think it's gonna And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
Elton John from 1972 and Rocket Man on Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain. If you'd like to get in touch, 951 036 026 or email studio@talkradioeurope.com. And while you're on the phone, get your fingers moving as well after you've dialed the number and go on the internet. All the W's, talkradioeurope.com. That is where you will find our website and lots and lots of stuff on there giving you details of what's happening at the station. Details, of course, about our programming as well. Frequencies, wherever you are along the costas, you can tune into us. Just make a note of perhaps where you're going on your travels and you'll be able to tune into us because you'll know where we are. And we've got the on-demand service there as well. We've got the property blog as well. All you have to do, if you're looking for a property, perhaps maybe coming into a new year and you've decided, okay, you know, we're going to look for somewhere else to live. Go on there and you'll probably find exactly what you want. Or if you've come into the new year and you've decided, about time we got rid of this old place, start the new year afresh, you can put your property on there as well. There's also local events and, of course, town hall information that I've mentioned before, giving you details of where your local town hall is and your emergency services as well. There's also Spanish headlines on the website, keeping you up to date on what's happening with regards to the headlines over here as well. If you scroll down the left-hand side of the page, you'll be able to just click on one of the stories and you'll be taken through to the story that you are most interested in and the details will be given to you. Also on that page, you'll be able to see our notice board, a message board as well. And if there's any interviews that you have missed, as I said, the on-demand service, all you have to do is select the date and time. Click on that, go through the on-demand service, the hour and the day that it was on, and you can download it as an MP3 as well. One of those stories that actually popped up with regards to headlines today, and a Murcia judge has been disciplined for bullying staff and bad language. A Murcia judge has been fined €3,000 for his bullying treatment of his staff and the offensive language that he used about the members of the public. He was charged in the civil registry in Murcia, and the judiciary power for serious abuse of his authority and lack of consideration towards civil servants and the public. He's reported to have referred to single mothers as I can't actually repeat that word. Let's just say it's not pleasant, and been very inflammatory about loads and loads of different people. The disciplinary action followed complaints about humiliating treatment which were lodged by some of the civil servants who work for the judge at the registry. One said that she was ordered to stand up from her chair to speak to him, and another one was told that a comment she'd made was close to subnormal. So stories like that and loads more can be found on the website if you just look down the left-hand side of the page. www.talkradioeurope.com, and of course don't forget our Facebook page as well, Talk Radio Europe Official. On the internet, go to Facebook and type that in and it'll pop up. Have a look around there, and then while you're there you can also enter yourself into a draw to fly anywhere that Monarch goes. Just think, this year you could be flying to a destination that you want to go to. As long as Monarch goes there, all you have to do is click on like to be entered. I'll see you on the other side of the news, and taking us there, the Loving Spoonful.
What a day for a daydream. What a day for a daydreaming boy. And I'm lost in a daydream, dreaming about my bundle of joy. And even if time ain't really on my side, it's one of those days for taking a walk outside. I'm blowing the day to take a walk in the sun and follow my face on somebody's new mode lawn. I've been having a sweet dream. I've been dreaming since I woke up today. It's starring me in my sweet dream, 'cause she's the one makes me feel this way. And even if time is passing me by a lot. I couldn't care less about the dues you say I got. Tomorrow I'll pay the dues for dropping my load. A pie in the face for being a sleepy bulldog. And you can be sure that if you're feeling right, a daydream will last along into the night. Tomorrow at breakfast you may pick up your ears, or you may be daydreaming for 1,000 years. What a day for a daydream, custom made for a daydreaming boy. I'm lost in a daydream, dreaming about my bundle of joy.
On Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain. Brought to you by Yuskabank Gibraltar. The international news on the hour.
Stephen Lawrence's parents have expressed relief after two men were convicted of their son's murder nearly 19 years after he was stabbed to death. Gary Dobson and David Norris will be sentenced tomorrow for the racist killing, which happened in southeast London in 1993. Paul Anderson Walsh, chief executive of the Stephen Lawrence Charitable Trust, says it's a case that's touched many hearts.
Stephen is one of those people that could have been anybody's son. What we've seen today is good people do win. You can just be honest and have integrity and have persistence, and you will win out in the end.
Stephen's cousin, Karina Levy, was 12 when he died. Speaking at the memorial spot where the attack happened in Eltham, she says she thinks about him every day.
The Stephen that I knew and loved was just a big giant to me. Very protective, very loving, very warm, very, very funny, very clear-headed.
The body of a young woman found on the royal estate at Sandringham on New Year's Day has been there for between a month and 4 months, according to police. The pathologist at the scene says it's highly unlikely she died of natural causes. A soldier who served in Afghanistan has died 18 months after being injured in an explosion. He was serving in 1st Battalion, the Royal Gurkha Rifles, when the blast happened in Helmand in June 2010. A man's been killed after a tree fell onto his van in Kent in strong winds. The weather's caused lots of problems across the UK today. And we've just heard another man's died after his vessel was hit by a wave in the English Channel. There have been protests among commuters who've had to start paying more for their train fares. Tickets have gone up by an average of 6%. And in football, Liverpool have decided against appealing the 8-match suspension handed to Luis Suarez for racially abusing Manchester United's Patrice Evra during a game in October. His ban comes into effect immediately, which means he misses tonight's game at leaders Manchester City. That's the latest. I'm Richard Suchet.
The international news on the hour, brought to you by Yuskabank Gibraltar. For all your investments and banking needs, go online, yuskabank.gi, or visit us at 76 Main Street, Gibraltar.
Just because we're living in Spain doesn't mean we don't occasionally want a change of scenery and diet in a beautiful part of the UK. Located in East Sussex is the historic town of Winchelsea, just 3 miles from Rye. The Lodge at Winchelsea is a perfect place to stay and an ideal base for exploring Hastings, Battlebodiam Castle and much, much more. Book online at thelodge@winchelsea.co.uk and we really look forward to welcoming you.
Ever felt you deserved the red carpet treatment? Of course you do. And now it's just one